Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She caught me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Jeez, I got this bright light in my face. Just changed the batteries in the little camera, the mic lights. It was like a purple spotlight right in my eyeball. But I'm better. And welcome to all of you out there who are with us. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Just getting all settled here. Kind of ran right to the wire getting this all done. But what's life without a little incredible stress? But I hope you all are ready for a good time tonight. For a good time, call 720-923-0500. That's 720-923-0500, which is the hotline to the Paranormal Portal, the numbers for fun. And if you do that, I'll do my best to answer it as quickly as I can. I'm not here alone, though. I have my offspring is with us. And, of course, I'm talking about my number one son, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. Thanks for coming on and being a part of this again. You're just kind of becoming a staple here on Saturday nights as well.
I am, aren't I?
Well, you're just following the old man's footsteps. You poor kid.
Little by little.
Little by little. So how's everything in your world, buddy?
Fantastic so far. Got some good weather. 85 degrees out today. It's been a nice day.
Been a nice day. Well,
That's
good.
right.
Good. That's outstanding. I guess that's all of the fluffy beginning stuff. How about we do some news?
Oh boy.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Let's go to the news. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I have a bunch of newsy stuff to talk to you about. So I hope you're ready, and I hope it's worth your time. I hope this is all worth your time. I think some of these are good, though. Here's an interesting one that came out of unexplained-mysteries.com, and it has to do with the sighting of a UFO, believe it or not. And let's see, I'm getting it all positioned here. And again, unexplained-mysteries.com, pilots report mystery green UFO over Canada. Now, this is from the 14th of August, so that means today. This was posted today, so this is right hot off the presses, folks. This is cutting edge news, and that's unusual as hell for the Paranormal Portal News, but we're going to go with it today. So it says, the pilots of two separate aircraft reported encountering the unidentified object over the coast on July 30th. Where though? Canada, I guess. There's not just one coast there, but anyway, we'll get into it. According to reports, the UFO, which was described as a bright green flying object, was seen flying into a cloud and disappearing over the Gulf of St. Lawrence on Canada's Atlantic coastline, so on the east coast. Okay. The pilots of two flights, one commercial and one military, both saw the same thing. The military plane had been traveling from Ontario to Cologne, Germany, while the passenger aircraft was a KLM Royal Dutch Airlines plane flying from Boston to Amsterdam. The UFO reportedly did not impact the operations of either flight. However, some news outlets have claimed that the military plane may have needed to change course to avoid getting too close. Because the nature and origin of the mysterious object remains unclear, the Canadian report describing the incident has assigned it the catch-all label of weather balloon meteor rocket UFO. like multiple choice. Or D, all of the above. It has been speculated that a meteor preceding the Perseid meteor shower may be to blame. However, this is yet to be confirmed, and there are no known recordings of the object. As things stand, the case remains unsolved. Well, you know what they need, Sheldon?
What's that?
They need dash cams on those planes. You never know, because I'm just telling you, dash cams are the future. I think that's where the next Patterson-Gimlin film is going to come from, is a dash cam. It's going to be somebody that's, because all the time we see reports of, there's a Bigfoot cross the road right in front of me as I was driving up here. It was in the headlights. And I think that's very possible. I think that could very well be the case. Now, I think that could also be useful on aircraft. Like, I saw this weird object and right off the nose cone. Well, there you go. We got dash cams. What do you think?
I think that's a success. I think that's going to be like the next insurance scam for planes.
Forget about shopping carts. It's going to be UFOs now. Yeah. Could be, folks. But that's the first article tonight on our Paranormal Portal newscast. Let's see what's next. And what's next, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Apparently, the woolly mammoths, even though they're big and lunky, they could do some road work. Did you know that, Sheldon?
Wait, say that again?
Woolly mammoths, even though they're big and lunky, they could do some road work. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, let's just get into this then. This is a little bit of educational news for you. This is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Prehistoric woolly mammoth traveled 70,000 kilometers. I don't know if they just mean one of them or a whole bunch of them, but
holy jeez,
or just that's like bigger than the Earth, though, isn't it? I mean,
I mean, if it's in the article, I would assume not, but I mean, like that's crazy.
It is. It's bigger than the Earth. I think they just mean how far they spread out, but it makes it sound like there's one of them that's like Forrest Gumping it across the globe here. So, I don't know. The way it's written is like there's ones like dun, 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 dun. Sorry, in my head that's hilarious. You wouldn't believe the party going on in here. But let's get to it. Well, thank you. But that might be a courtesy laugh.
True. That's true. I won't say. I won't tell you.
Yeah, don't tell me. Just keep that to yourself. Scientists have identified a mammoth. A mammoth. Oh, okay. That roamed a distant equivalent to circling the entire planet twice. It is bigger than the Earth. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Yep.
There we go. The extreme range of these gigantic Ice Age mammoths. How did they figure out he traveled? There's his footprint. Yep, those are his shoes right there. How do they figure out one mammoth did that? That's kind of bizarre. Go ahead.
I mean, unless, there's kind of like with our fingers, there's a way to identify mammoth to mammoth just based upon the markings on their feet.
Dermal ridges. You might be onto something there. Okay. Just have a Sheldon party for a minute. That's fine.
That's right.
All right. Let's see what it says. The extreme range of these gigantic Ice Age mammals has been realized for the first time thanks to a detailed analysis of mammoth tusks carried out by a team of scientists at the University of Alaska. Mammoth tusks are a little bit like tree rings, storing information about the mammoth's life when it was alive and preserving chemical traces that can point to specific parts of the world. By studying the tusks of a mammoth that lived 17,000 years ago, the team was able to determine that this particular animal managed to roam over 70,000 kilometers, almost twice the Earth's circumference. It's not clear-cut if it was a seasonal migrator, but it covered some serious ground, said study co-author Dr. Matthew Wooler. What's the odds that guy's name would be attached to a woolly mammoth study? I mean, are you serious? His name's Dr. Matthew Wooler, and he's studying woolly mammoths.
I'm sure if he ever sees this video in this live stream, I'm sure he's going to be thinking like, "Oh God, another one."
Well, I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah.
It visited many parts of Alaska at some point during its lifetime, which is pretty amazing when you think about how big that area is. The mammoth, which was unearthed at the state's Brooks Range Mountains, was thought to have been 28 years old when it died, which is around half the life expectancy of the species. Well, it's apparently because he did all those road work, you know. he exercised himself to a grave. From the moment they're born until the day they die, they've got a diary, and it's written in their tusks, said co-author Dr. Pat Druckenmiller. Okay. I thought it said Drunkenmiller at first.
I thought so too.
No, we can't. Mother Nature doesn't usually offer up such convenient and lifelong records of an individual's life. Yeah. That is really impressive, though. That dude traveled. He put in some miles.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Well,
that's crazy.
I think it is too. I think that's pretty darn amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, now we know a little bit more about mammoths and how they figure out where the hell they've been. Look at the tusks. All right, let's get to the next one. All right. I like that story. I did. This one's kind of a sadder one. I wasn't, necessarily a huge fan of the guy, but I appreciate that he did get up and talk. I mean, I wasn't not a fan of him. I think he was an interesting guy, and certainly his pedigree gave the field a lot of gravity, because what I'm talking about is the former Canadian Minister of Defense, Mr. Paul Hellyer. And, of course, he passed away lately, ladies and gentlemen. And he was actually pretty advanced in age. I didn't realize he was quite this old, but here we go. Unexplained-mysteries.com reports that UFO researcher Paul Hellyer dies aged 98.
Whoa.
Hellyer was the former Minister of National Defense as well as Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. Born and raised in Waterford, Ontario, Hellyer studied aeronautical engineering at the Curtis Wright Technical Institute and obtained his pilot's license before taking up a job making training craft for the Royal Canadian Air Force during World War II. It isn't clear exactly when he first became aware of the UFO phenomena. However, in 1967, he flew in by helicopter to inaugurate what was described as the first ever UFO landing pad in St. Paul, Alberta. After enjoying a long political career in his native Canada, he became a lot more vocal about the subject in 2005 when he made headlines by announcing his belief in UFOs. Speaking at the Exopolitics conference in Ontario that year, he explained that he, his wife, and his friends had personally witnessed a UFO one night. However, he had dismissed it at the time. It wasn't until he watched an ABC documentary that he started to take the subject more seriously. Within 2 years, he was demanding that the world governments disclose any extraterrestrial technology that they happen to be in possession of because it could help humanity solve climate change. I would like to see what alien technology there might be that could eliminate the burning of fossil fuels within a generation. That could be a way to save our planet, he said at the time. We need to persuade governments to come clean on what they know. Some of us suspect they know quite a lot, and it might be enough to save our planet if applied quickly enough. In a later interview, he also claimed that there were at least 4 species of aliens on Earth. We have a long history of UFOs, and of course there has been a lot more activity in the last few decades since we invented the atomic bomb, he told Russia Today in 2014. They are very concerned about that, and that we might use it again because of the whole cosmos as a unity, and it affects not just us, but other people in the cosmos. They are very much afraid that we might be stupid enough to start using atomic weapons again. He leaves behind an extensive family, including his second wife, 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Yeah, I think, he was very vocal about this, and my hat's off to him for that because, given his pedigree, he was at least a strong voice in the din of trying to proclaim that this stuff is real. But I was a little critical of the man because he was at the disclosure hearings with Stephen Greer in 2010 at the press club in Washington, D.C. And the whole hearings were, these people coming forward with, being military, being pilots, being, all kinds of professionals coming forward with their UFO stories to a group of congressmen and women who were there to listen to this to try to push for disclosure. Now, Paul Hellyer's turn came up, and most of these congressmen and women are just finally coming to terms with the fact that, hey, there might be something there. And then he uses that time to talk about all the aliens that are already here living with us. And I was like, oh, that might be a little too much, that might not be the right time to bring that up. Let's wait
Yeah.
until we get a little momentum here, and then start discussing the possibility that there are alien beings living among us. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you're introducing an idea, it's good to take it at, one step at a time instead of going full sprint,
Just go right to the finish line. We're done. That's it. They're here. Let's open the bolts, open the books. Let's go. We know they're here. You're not fooling us.
And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where he could be exactly right or wrong or kind of right. It's just, It's hard to know when you're talking about the unknown.
It is. It's hard to know when you're talking about the unknown. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Here's an interesting story, and this is something actually I know of this happening, and it's really not a laughing matter. It's really actually pretty tragic, but it did come up, and I thought we'd discuss it because it's something I can relate to. This is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and 3 men die after getting trapped in a manure pit. All three men, who were brothers, ended up trapped in the pit after becoming overwhelmed by the fumes. The idea of being trapped inside a pit of manure sounds awful at the best of times, but what makes it even more dangerous and deadly is the concoction of fumes that the manure can produce. According to reports, the men had entered the manure pit in an attempt to fix a faulty pump. However, they were soon overcome by the noxious fumes and rendered unconscious. Emergency services did eventually manage to extract them from the pit. However, all 3 men ultimately died in hospital a few hours later. Manure pits are used to store animal waste to use as fertilizer. However, they also produce hydrogen sulfide, methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide, a deadly combination. Even at low levels, these gases can cause serious harm to a person's health. But in high concentrations, they can quickly render a person unconscious. What makes these pits particularly dangerous is that if someone is trapped inside one, anyone who attempts to rescue can quickly find themselves becoming a victim as well. Unless the rescuer is wearing a SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, protective equipment, there is a strong likelihood that the rescuer will also succumb to toxic gases or lack of oxygen, the National Agricultural Safety Database writes. There have been numerous instances where several farmers have been killed while attempting to remove someone from a pit or facility. Always treat a manure pit as if it's a death trap. That's very true. And ladies and gentlemen, I had an in-law, an ex-in-law, I guess, but an in-law that worked at a farm, and it was in Minnesota. And I had actually applied to try to work at this farm when I was much, much younger. But I heard that the guy that I interviewed with had passed away soon after I interviewed with him. And what had happened was his adult son was working on the silage, I think they call it silage, pit, and fell in and went unconscious. And this guy was right there and watched his son fall in. And like any father, and I can relate to this, he goes, no, I'm going to get my boy. He went in there too and died. So both of them died very quickly. And yeah, it's horribly tragic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was... I was shocked to hear that. I never, you would think they would vent those things, wouldn't you? But apparently they don't.
So is it not in like an open, like outside or anything? It's
No.
probably in a warehouse or whatever.
Well, it's like the one that I was thinking of was like almost like an in-ground container, like a big flat rectangular underground container with a hatch. And that was where it was, I think. And they were working a similar thing. They were working on a pump, and the kid fell in, and he watched his son go down. And of course, you're just like, no, this is not going to happen. And then so they both succumbed, and it's really, really very sad, very dangerous stuff. But
That's yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I wanted to read it, because hey, I can agree. This really does happen. Those pits are horribly dangerous. It's like jumping into a World War I trench full of mustard gas. I mean, really, it's game over.
I mean, when you're talking a big pit like that and then all the fumes, I mean, in a sense, you're kind of exactly right.
Right. Okay, here's another one. This one has to do with NASA, talking about a potential collision risk, but let's read what it says. All right, here we go. All right, so this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, a great site, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Please stop in and check out this site, because I only touch a very little bit of what they offer at the site, and it's amazing. Their articles are really cool, really quick reads. You can get a lot of information in a quick time. I love this site. I really do love this site. They do a phenomenal job, and so I hope you guys help to support this site. But NASA reveals revised risk of Bennu collision. This is from the 12th of August, Thursday, 2021. At a news conference yesterday, the space agency revealed how likely it is that the asteroid will hit us. When it comes to disaster scenarios, there is none quite as terrifying as the prospect of a gigantic asteroid hurtling into Earth, causing untold devastation or wiping out human civilization. Yeah, this isn't too long. Okay, I was like, I better look. It's sounding sciencey. This isn't a scenario limited to movies either. It has happened multiple times throughout Earth's history, resulting in major extinction events such as the one that killed the dinosaurs. As things stand, it's not a question of if it will happen again, but when. One of the most disconcerting asteroids we currently know about is Bennu, a huge space rock measuring 200 meters across that has the potential to collide with the Earth in the near future. Now, according to NASA, the current data suggests that Bennu has a 1 in 1,750 chance of colliding with the Earth within the next 300 years. Sounds like we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
a slight increase on previous estimates. The highest risk will come during a near miss on September 24th, 2182. I'm betting by 2182, if we're still around, we're probably going to be able to deal with that. Okay. While this might not sound particularly reassuring, these odds are still pretty small, leading NASA scientists to conclude that it is highly unlikely that we'll need to take any action. In 2135, asteroid Bennu will make a close approach with Earth, although the near-Earth object will not pose a danger to our planet at that time. Scientists must understand Bennu's exact trajectory during that encounter in order to predict how the Earth's gravity will alter the asteroid's path around the sun and affect the hazard of future Earth impact, NASA said in a statement. Using NASA's Deep Space Network and state-of-the-art computer models, scientists were able to significantly shrink uncertainties in Bennu's orbit, determining its total impact probability through the year 2300, or 2300, I guess is the way to say that, is about 1 in 1,750, or 0.057%. The researchers were also able to identify September 24th, 2182 as the most significant single date in terms of a potential impact, with the impact probability of 1 in 2,700, or about 0.037%. So I think we're going to make it, folks. There won't be any need to lob Bruce Willis up there with some drills.
Good movie reference. Yeah.
I like that movie. That was a good movie. It really was. So that's that article. And I think I got one more here. One more. Sheldon, you ready for one more?
I'm always ready for one more.
Okay. Let's see what this one's all about. Oh yeah, I did. I know why I pulled this one up. Sounds interesting. It sounds kind of horrible too, but anyway, hello, good evening to you, Renee. And, good to see everybody. Hey, Bam. I just happened to open up the TFR. I got 3 minutes till the break, so let's see if we can get through this. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Visitors flock to Devil's Bath in New Zealand. And this is from the 2nd of August of this year, so it's a pretty new article.
Ooh.
This unique and brightly colored natural wonder might look pretty, but you definitely don't want to swim in it. And then the picture depicts this pretty scene with like a neon green liquid in this bath. So, having watched The Simpsons, I wouldn't go swimming in that. But
no, remember, it's got to be neon blue.
Well, I'm thinking green probably isn't real promising either, though.
Yeah, true. Green is the universal sign of poison.
That's right. Yep. This unique and brightly colored swimming natural wonder, there's no swimming. This unique and brightly colored natural wonder might look pretty, but you definitely don't want to swim in it. Situated in New Zealand's Waiotapu region, sorry, Nessie, if I'm brutalizing that, this bizarre pool of bright green water looks almost too colorful to be real, but while it's certainly no fake, it's also rather dangerous. Its color comes not from algae, but from hydrogen sulfide gases, ferrous salts, and iron in the water. It also stinks really bad. and a combination of rotten eggs and sewerage. Sewerage. I don't know what sewerage, but if that's worse than sewage, then that's not good. Despite the foul stench emanating from it, the appropriately titled Devil's Bath is a popular tourist attraction, with thousands flocking each year to experience the area's volcanic wonders. Suffice to say, however, that jumping into the green water for a swim would be a very bad idea indeed, as the water is so acidic that it's capable of literally melting off your skin.
Oh. Okay. All right. I see.
Or we call that exfoliating.
Yeah, it's just exfoliating.
We're just exfoliating, just taking some skin. No, that's pretty creepy, huh? So there you got it, folks. That's the Devil's Bath in New Zealand. You don't want to go swimming there, but it might make a good photo op.
Yeah, good spicy water. Yeah.
Spicy, yeah. It's spicy, all right. It'll
spicy water.
Take care of all your concerns in about 3 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
Or less. I'm not sure how that works, but it sounded acidic when I was reading it, too. I was like, that sounds like acid. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the news. And we're going to break, folks, so we'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal in just a moment here. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Don't move.
Well, hi. How you guys doing? We are back, of course. I am joined by my son, Mr. Sheldon Thomas.
Hello.
Joining me here on the horn. How's the show going for you so far?
So far, it's as good as always. A solid 9 out of 10. You know, solid 9.
What do we got to do to cook the 10 out of you?
I need a raise.
Oh, yeah. Well, get in line, Jesus.
No.
That's my boy. No, it's fine. It's fine, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of paranormal fun still in the pipe here for you. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. It lined up for you. How's that? Is that a little better?
That is better. There you go.
Got a lot more lined up. How you doing, Bam? Good to see you. Of course, as always. I'm just trying to pull it up so we can do some shout outs since he was here. Of course, Bam is in the TFR. All One is in TFR. And I'm in TFR. It's kind of quiet over there. Renee was over there, but I don't know where Renee went now. But let's see who's in YouTube. So if you want to shout out on YouTube, you should probably say something because, my participants list is literally Maggie and me. The only one talking on YouTube is Maggie and me. Oh, there's Android Purity. He's in there. His name just popped up. So there's 3 of us. That's there's Justin. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Dream.
Yeah, really? Why are you getting them faster than I am? Tracy's here. There's Dream. Tracy Gill. Dream. James Coop just popped in. Good to see you, James. Let's see. All right. Well, that's who's talking. Oh, somebody else has popped in. Rashid Jurgens. Well, welcome, Rashid. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the fold. So that's who's talking so far. And if I missed you, then you weren't talking.
David Pierce.
David Pierce.
Hi.
Yo from Oregon. Hi. Or Oregon.
Hello.
Oregon. Sorry. Don always gives me hell when I say Oregon. He's like, it's not Oregon. It's Oregon. Sorry, Don.
Oregon.
Oregon. Yep. Not Oregon. Oregon.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Now you sound like you're local. I'm a Midwest transplant, so I brutalize that all the time. But I just want to say, folks, if you want to call in and be a part of the Tonight Show, you sure can. The number is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500 is the number to call in. Sup from South Africa. Wow, Rashid, welcome. That's a long way away.
Wow.
We got another South African listener. Mary is usually popping in as well. But welcome to you. Thanks for coming on the show. I'm glad you found us.
Yeah.
Hey. So, yeah, it's great. Great to see all these new faces. All right. So, what? Oh, what?
Oh, I was just going to say that always makes me happy, seeing new people in.
It makes me happy, too. But I'm glad it makes you happy. It always does, doesn't it? So we're going to go right away to a list that we've been kind of cooking through. And this is people share real ghost stories. Is this the one we were working on before? Wait a minute. There was one that had a really funny title I didn't think we moved through all the way.
Was it the criminal one?
No, we made it all the way through the criminal one. But
okay.
There was one that was like maybe kind of might have seen a ghost or something like that. Did we go all the way through that one? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't either. It's just the way it works. But I'm trying to find it if it is. Well, this is the one we're going to read anyway. So this is Ranker.com lists people share real ghost stories. We're on number 9. Is that? Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. 22 times people maybe actually probably encountered a ghost. And I love that title. 22 times people maybe actually probably encountered a ghost. This is on ranker.com. And it's written by Jordan Myrick. He's the one that pulled this all together. But I think this is from April 23rd of 2020. Very cool article, though. We've gone through 8 of them already. But let's go to number 9, which is where we are now. And we'll pick it up from there. And this is Awake or Asleep from I Love Olive 66. Oh, I love her. Sorry. I thought that was funny. Anyway, this is what goes on in my head. You're getting a little glimpse inside of what's going on inside my skull, and it's kind of a scary place.
It's entertaining, though.
The stuff that I let out, yeah. The rest of it, no, I'm just kidding. There's not a bunch of weird stuff. No, I'm fine. Trust me. Fine.
Yeah. You just need help.
Fine. So I'm not sure I believe in ghosts, but it's either that I'm hallucinating. It's either that or I'm hallucinating. I should probably read it better. Let me just say that I'm able to lucid dream, and these sightings have all happened upon waking up, and I know I'm fully awake. I've seen 6 fully formed people, all from different eras. I remember each one in great detail, every line on their faces, what they are wearing, and they're all smiling and dissipate very quickly. My mother passed in January from a brain tumor. That's tragic. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh.
And yesterday morning, I saw a swirling cloud shaped like a human. Tiny balls of light were floating in the cloud. There were no facial features. It waved at me, and then it was gone. Actually scared the hell out of me. My mom saw things too, and I was hoping maybe it was my mom. Yeah, maybe it was. I mean, that's cool, right?
I hope so, at least.
That's the other time that I've actually seen an apparition, folks. And Sheldon, you were actually there. It was when you were younger, and we were living on the lake. A thunderstorm had just gone through. It was just an incredibly electric thunderstorm. It was just brilliant. Now, one of my favorite pastimes, when I can do it, I love to sit and watch thunderstorms. In fact, I'll sit out in the storm as long as I'm not getting wet and, rained on, or it's not really a very aggressive, dangerous storm. I'll just sit and watch them because I love that power. I love that energy. It's just intoxicating. And so I like to watch thunderstorms. Well, this time, do you remember what I'm talking about, Sheldon?
This sounds familiar. You'll have to continue.
Okay, well, see if it comes back to you as I'm repeating this, because you're probably 14 or something at the time. But
was it the white? No. Okay, continue.
Continue. Okay, yeah. Let me just get there instead of playing games with it. So this extraordinarily electric storm just had happened to go through, and it had moved across the lake into Wisconsin. But the huge thunderhead clouds were just all in the horizon. Even though it was night out, it was absolute darkness. The flashes from the lightning were almost like a strobe, and it was nearly continuous, the way that these clouds were just flashing and flashing. It was really an incredibly potent and energetic storm. But after it had moved out, I think I first went outside, and then I called you and said, Sheldon, come check this out. When I was standing on the grass, there's a section of grass about 30 feet, and then it goes down to the beach, the sandy beach. So I'm standing on the grass, and I went towards the edge where it goes down to the sand, and I realized that the grass looked like it was glowing, and it looked like there was a haze of energy over the ground, and it was just incredible. And that's why I called you out, because I wondered, are you seeing this too? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Vividly. I do remember that.
Yeah.
That kind of glowy, flickery pattern that it was. It's hard. It's even hard to describe, actually.
Well, I guess
it was just there.
Right. I guess I would say it was like walking in maybe a 2 or 3 foot haze of northern lights. Like if the northern lights were on the ground, that's kind of what it looked like. It was more subtle than that. But it was still there, and that's why I called Sheldon. I was like, God, are you seeing this too? Because this is what I'm seeing. He's like, wow, yeah. And so we stood outside for quite a while, and then, after a while, he was like, hey, I'm going to go back inside. So I just stayed in the yard and was walking around because, it was still really wonderful out there. And I walked around the side of the house in the yard, and I'm standing there looking, and suddenly I see an incredibly faint human outline, like a I don't know, like a cloud person standing in front of me, but it was like a human outline, and it's standing there, and it's about 5'6". I'm about 5'10", 5'10 and a half, right in there. And so this thing is about 5'6" or 7, and it's standing about 2 or 3 feet in front of me, and it's almost completely transparent, but not quite. So it's translucent. I can make out the outline of it, and it's standing there and looking at me, and I'm looking at it. And then it kind of kicked its head to the side like this, because I think it dawned on this apparition that I was seeing it. And the next thing it did is it brought up its hand like this and went like this. And I'm like, yeah, I can see you. And it didn't feel creepy. It didn't feel scary at all. It was just this moment. And as soon as I said that, it was just like, boom. It just moved quickly and was gone. I couldn't see it anymore. It was just so almost invisible. But it was so funny that it brought up, it kicked its head to the side and went like this, like, are you really seeing me? And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm seeing you. So it was, that's only, the other time that I saw an apparition, it was like a fully formed woman that I saw walking through the living room that I've explained on the show before, on my old house that I used to own in Red Wing. But this was after that by several years, and just an incredible experience. So I kind of recognize when this woman's explaining what she saw, or he, if it's a he, I don't know, he or she, but because it reminds me of that moment when that apparition just waved at me. I was like, yeah, I see you. And then it was just like, ooh, and then it was just like a quick shift and it was gone. And I was standing there alone, and I kept looking around for quite a while, but that was the crescendo. Was it? I don't know what it was that I saw. I don't know if it was a spirit, if it was just something else, some kind of earth spirit or something. I don't know. But it wasn't, it didn't feel frightening in any way. Like, I felt totally calm and at peace just having this moment of watching the world. It says, Android Purity says, wow, I hope I can get to see apparition with actual features sometime. That would, what did the person look like? And it just looked like a light fog that was human shaped. Like, it had a head, neck, shoulders, arms, and a torso. Now, I didn't see the legs and stuff like that, but it was just there in front of me. So it was just the figure, like the outline, the silhouette of a person, but I didn't see any features at all. It was just this milky, very light, milky feature, apparition or entity or whatever. So that's the best way I can describe it. Very cool. Tracy Gale says an angel, maybe. I don't know. That's very interesting. I think it was a time traveler. Ruthie says maybe it was a time kind of thing where it was just because of the energy of that storm. We were both in this kind of connected, almost connected space. I don't know. Yeah. Fascinating. Thank you. We have a nurse walk through the bedroom into the master bath. Haven't seen her in a while. Wow, Ruger.
Wow.
Obviously, we got more to talk about with you, so we'll have to do another podcast, brother. I did a podcast with Ruger, and it was a lot of fun. He's got the greatest voice. He's just got this cool delivery. If you haven't heard it, go out and our podcasts on Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, and look for the Paranormal Portal, and check out the episode with Ruger Ridge. It was a great discussion. We had a good time. And he does a lot of Bigfoot research, and so it was extra cool. Maybe you did mention it in that interview. If you did, I'm sorry. I mean, I do a few interviews, so it's hard to keep them all completely straight. But yeah, he says we could. Okay, yeah, I'll get in touch with you, brother. We'll figure that out. Yeah, but that's a cool story because it really brought that back to me. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that time I saw that, and that's the thing. I don't know. I've had a lot of different experiences in my life, and I think I've forgotten so many of them, but then as I'm doing the show, they come back, the little glimpses come, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. Oh, I remember when that happened. It's just really kind of neat. Yeah.
Trigger memories,
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know how that works, right? Like you'll read something and be like, oh, it sparks a memory,
Oh yeah. That's the only way I remember things, if it triggers it. Otherwise I'll forget it.
Well, I'm glad you remember being in that moment, outside. I know you didn't see because you had gone inside, so you missed the apparition part, but I'm glad that you do remember standing out there and seeing like the ground was like glowing and shimmering. It was just really cool.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about, you came in and told me about that. I wasn't there for that part.
Oh yeah, you do remember me coming right inside and going, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it." Yeah.
Yep.
I was really blown away by it. It was really an exciting experience.
I know. The one thing I thought, I was like, I wish I stayed out there a little longer.
Yeah, well, I know that would have been cool. The next one is called Missing Footsteps, and it's from Redditor Commander Shotgun. You don't want to mess with Commander Shotgun.
I like his name.
That's pretty cool. I was about to fall asleep after reading. It usually takes me about 30 minutes to fall asleep. So I'm used to laying there in silence for a while. And during this period, I heard footsteps on the gravel outside. It couldn't have been anybody in my house because our doors had alarms on them. It couldn't have been anybody in my house because our doors had alarms on them, and deactivating the alarm made quite a bit of noise. The footsteps were unevenly spaced apart and heavy. In the middle of nowhere, a drunk was mostly ruled out. They stepped right outside my window. At this point, I was literally listening at the curtained thing. I peeked outside, literally thinking back, it was a bad idea at the time, but I saw absolutely nothing. The next day, I went outside and checked the gravel that surrounds our house and our yard for footprints, but there was nothing. That brings back another memory too.
All right, let's go. Before I forget.
Yeah.
Andrew Purdy asked how old I was when that event happened, the one from before.
I think you were about 14 around the time that happened, so that was, a decade or so ago, but yeah.
Yeah, and here I go again. I don't remember how old I was. I don't know.
Well, I know you weren't driving then, so it was pre-driving days. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a while ago. But that's so cool. You were with your dad. My daughter and I have experienced so much together. We could write a book. Yeah, I bet, Ruthie. Yeah, I don't know. It's really neat to share experiences like that, and I'm glad that you were there to share that experience.
I am too.
I wish all three of you guys could be there when that happened. All three, you and your brothers. That'd have been cool.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, you never know when the paranormal is going to happen. And I don't know if that's really paranormal. I think that was just a really intense natural thing that happened.
Well, technically it is paranormal.
It's not normal. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true. All right. The next one is number 11, 3 knocks. This is from K-Pop Madness 13. All right. Let's see what K-Pop Madness has cooking.
Oh.
This is a little bit longer, but this is okay. So I moved in my house about 5 to 6 years ago, and nothing happened until the start of last year. I'm a very spiritual girl and have a good sense when something isn't right or something is not on purpose. Okay. I've experienced a lot of stuff before when I was little, so around last year, I would hear stuff falling off a shelf in my bathroom. Unseen hands touch me on the back. Even my mom felt some hands touch her. I'll always see shadows out of the corner of my eyes, and when I look, there's nothing there. I would always feel as I am being watched in the living room. I legit can't be myself. I think by myself is what they meant. In the living room, my mom and me always feel someone behind us if we're alone. Bangs happen somewhere in our house when we're alone. Last week, I was in my bed and woke up in the middle of the night to hear continuous taps, and knocking on the walls about 3 a.m. About last year, in the living room, I was asleep and woke up, and I saw a shadowy figure at the bottom of the bed looking at the wall. So I was a bit scared, but I went to sleep, and nothing happened. This person really needs punctuation.
Yeah.
There's not a period or comma in this whole thing.
Oh, no. Jeez.
But 5, I'm like trying to figure out, where do I end this thought? Where do I breathe? But 5 years ago, my dad died, and I don't know if it's him, but I'm sure there's lots of ghosts in my house. I think, anyways. I just want to make sure there is ghosts, so I don't disrespect them when they are wanting attention. I know it can be bad, the stuff happening, and I usually feel like I get possessed. My mood swings start, and I feel like, oh, geez, hurting someone. That's not exactly what it says, but that's what I'm reading. Someone, or punching a wall. It says of punching a wall, but I think they mean or. There's a period. Woo! Okay.
He did it.
She. There's a she, but yeah. I've heard my name being called in my ears when no one is with me. I sometimes feel like someone is pushing me in my house. And last night, I was playing my games on the PS4 and with my bedroom lights off. And I was sitting on my bed in the middle with the door open when the door opened. And suddenly, I felt like someone sat beside me. And I saw the bed move down. And my heart started feeling weird. And I felt like something was there. Recently, in the middle of the night, I heard 3 knocks and footsteps in the hall, which is in front of my bed. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's some scary stuff, and that's the hard part. I assume this person is a little younger. Maybe 13 is actually their age, But yeah, that's hard to process for a young person for sure.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right, number 12.
Oh.
Sorry.
Did you? I'm so sorry. I cut you off earlier when you thought of that story. Did you want to read that?
Oh, the one that happened to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of a non-event. It was just waking up and hearing footsteps outside of the bedroom window, down when we were there in at that same house, like right outside the window, and it was like probably about 3 a.m. and they were like almost completely silent, like something was really. Well, but it was bipedal. I know that. So if it was what it was, I don't know. But it was. I really noticed it. It was like, wow. All right. A visit from Dad. This is from Krista 24403. Until lately, I've always been a skeptic of spirits and ghosts. To give some background knowledge, my parents built this house 22 years ago, and we've lived here my whole life. None of us have ever saw anything that would indicate there were spirits here. My dad passed away in 2012, but up until this week, I had never been spooked like this. It started off one morning, my lights came on. They're red lights above my bed, and the only way to turn them on is by remotes. And my remote was halfway across the room, so I checked to see if they weren't fully plugged in, but they were. I tried to forget about it, but a couple of days later it happened again. But I woke up because they were on flash mode. I've had trouble sleeping, which is so uncommon because I have always went to work, come home, and passed out. I get this stomach-dropping feeling, and I've done double takes because I thought something was in my chair, but when I look back, it's gone. I'm still a little skeptical, but at this point, the whole thing is freaking me out too bad. Could it be my dad after all these years? Maybe. That's a tough one, and that's the hard part is knowing, what are you dealing with? Is it someone you love, or is it someone you wouldn't love? And I don't know. I think it's good to think of it as if it's someone you love, because you just don't know. But
yeah, it's true.
But who can say for sure, right?
Who can? That's right.
Who can? All right. But anyway, that's a cool story. I think we got time for one more here. About 3 minutes until the break. But This is from Redditor. It's called Good Morning from Redditor 10,000 Arms. This morning, my dad attempted to wake me up and left the door open. Delirious, I immediately flopped my head back down on my pillow and closed my eyes. That's always a big mistake. I then felt a slight pressure on the mattress moving very slowly, as if something were stepping around. I assumed it was my dog. The footsteps happened only about every 3 to 5 seconds. So I wondered why she was moving so cautiously. I was also sure I felt her sniff at one point. It was soft enough to the point where I felt I could have imagined it, but continuous enough that I definitely noticed it. I didn't bother to push her away because I assumed she'd just poke around for a while and then leave. But the movement stopped, and I didn't hear her jump down and leave the room. I sat up, and there was nothing there. My dad was long gone. I could hear him across the house, so it couldn't have been him. My sisters were all watching TV and eating breakfast, and I would have heard them coming in because our house is raised, making every footstep thunderous. Normally, I would brush it off as delirious sleep sensations that weren't really there, but I had a similar experience years ago that still bothers me. Same thing. I was in bed. I felt weird, soft touches, soft fabric sounds as something touched the blankets, a presence next to me, movement in the sheets, until suddenly I panicked and ran out of the room. It was not as severe this time, but it had a similar feeling, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe, but I felt that same watchful presence. Yeah, that's creepy. I don't know.
That's a pretty freaky story.
Yeah, I mean the whole something's in your room when you're sleeping. That's creepy. And I don't know. There's certain times in your day when you don't feel really confident. One of them is when you're sleeping. Like, that's when we're vulnerable. We're not even aware of what's going on around us. And then to wake up and become aware of someone there that shouldn't be, or, something going on that shouldn't be happening, or a shadow standing at your bed looking at you. The worst ones, I think, would be those ones that, people are in their bed and they open their eyes and there's like a face right in their own face.
Oh my God.
Oh God, that's such a crappy thing to do. I don't know. I don't know why they would do that, but they just seem to do that. The only thing I thought, and ladies and gentlemen, I've said this on the show before, and I'll go into it after the break because I really can't get this thought out in time for the break. But we're going to go to the hour break. Does that seem possible? It's been an hour already?
Feels like it's been 5 minutes.
Right, 5 minutes. It feels like that, doesn't it? Well, we're going to go to the hour break, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes, so don't go away. These breaks are necessary because they pay the bills. So don't go away. We'll be back soon, and we'll continue with our journey into the paranormal portal.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Why, yes, they can, folks. They can go on for years.
And years.
And years and years and years. I'm gonna fix this or something. Oh, that's why. Okay. Let me do this. That's a little better. Okay. Just fixing my camera a little bit there, folks. So,
I think it looks fine. It's
so
fantastic.
So our heads both fit, and it look, and I don't look like your action figure. You know, you're so much bigger than me. So anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the hour number 2 of the Paranormal Portal. We're diving through some cool stories on a Reddit thread that was posted by Ranker, and they're good. I think they're pretty good. What do you think, Sheldon? They okay?
Oh, I'm enjoying them so far. Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
Good. That's the idea. Keep enjoying them. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call into the show, please feel free. The numbers to the Paranormal Portal, or the number to call the Paranormal Portal, is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So that's how you find us, because we're here doing our thing. Let me get this all situated better. There we go. Let me pull this. I got a barrage of windows open all over the place, and it's just a mess. Just a mess. So there we go. All right.
Yeah.
I think this will work. Okay. All right. So we're going to dive back into that article. If you all are ready for that, we can certainly do that. Let's do it right now. Let me cue this up, and let me cue this article back up. Okay. So, was this? We already read this one. Yeah. Okay. So we're on number 14 now of our list. And this, again, is coming from Reddit. Or Ranker. Sorry, Ranker.com.
Wait, I have to hold you up. You said you were going to say something when we came back.
Oh, yeah. What was I going to say?
Yeah, you said.
What were we
said
talking
it's been
about?
on my mind, and I'm going to say it when we come back from break.
What were we talking about? God. I did about...
It was the... Well, we just read the Good Morning story.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't remember what my point was going to be. What the hell was it? Let me look at that story.
Well, you didn't share it with me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure it wasn't important enough to remember. That's what they say, right? If you don't remember, it must not have been important.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Now, Paranormal Portal, I will call in and share with you what I describe as angelic encounters. That'd be wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
This could actually be it. Let's talk. Because I got a phone on the horn. This is area code 306. You're on the air. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Caller, are you there? It's not working. Wonder why.
Don't know.
I don't know if that's you, Tracy. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to try to... Oh, there you are.
Oh.
Are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm
Hi.
here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, good.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
You're most welcome. So,
Of course.
what do you got to share? I want to hear this.
Okay. Well, I've got a few. I'll just share a couple.
Oh, whatever you want. You have all
And
the time
I
you want.
can I have always, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
I've always been sensitive to what I call the supernatural,
Okay.
and have been since I was a little girl. So one of the encounters that I experienced was probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I had a very good friend that I was close to. She was dying of cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I had been going over to her house every day to care for her with her family. And there was one morning about 4 o'clock in the morning, and my bedroom door opened.
Oh.
And
Wow.
a person walked in to my bedroom and came over to me, and I saw them as clear as I'm looking at you on the screen.
Wow.
And said, "Tracy, get up and get dressed. Burl needs you. She's not doing well." And this was 4 in the morning.
Oh my
And
God.
I said, "Okay." And that person turned around, walked out of my bedroom, and shut the door.
Wow.
So
Oh.
I got up right then. I took a shower. When I got out of the shower, my phone was ringing, and it was my friend's husband. And he said, "I'm sorry to call you this early, but Burl's not doing well, and we need you."
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And I said, "I know. I'll be there in 30 minutes."
That's incredible.
And so I got up and I went.
Uh-huh.
And the thing about this person that came into my room, it was actually a face that I recognized of a lady. She lived several hundred miles away, but it was her face that came and delivered this message to me.
Oh my God.
And I wondered why that particular face.
Right.
And when I thought about it, I considered it, that woman was a reliable messenger
Yeah.
that I would believe.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And so I left it at that.
That's incredible.
So that's one encounter.
Uh-huh.
That's a great one. Wow.
Yeah.
And then there's another one I had, and I had broken my foot,
Oh.
and it was not healing well. It was during the Christmas season, and I was super busy during the Christmas season, and usually entertained a lot of people in my home. And I had to be on my feet, and it had been about 6 weeks, and my foot was not healing.
Oh dear.
I had a cast on it, and it was really bad. So, and I was in a lot of pain. And so it was early afternoon, probably around 2 afternoon. I was exhausted, and I told my husband and my 2 sons that were still home at the time. I said, I need to go to bed. I am mentally exhausted and physically exhausted. So we had stairs. I went up the stairs, crawled up the stairs, got into bed. I live in Canada.
Uh-huh.
And so it was during the day, and I pulled our light blocker curtains down and crawled into bed, and I had my back, I was laying with my back to the bedroom door, and I was crying. I was so hurting and feeling so low. And I heard the bedroom door open. I had my eyes shut. I never opened my eyes.
Okay.
And I heard somebody walk around to the end of the bed over to where I was. I never opened my eyes because I thought it was my husband or my sons or somebody. Mm-hmm. I literally felt a hand and the pressure of a hand on my shoulder.
Okay.
And somebody was speaking softly to me.
Uh-huh.
And it was very gentle. It was very soothing. And it just calmed me right down.
Oh.
Wow.
And they lifted their hand. They walked around the bed. I heard the door open and shut. And I went to sleep probably for 4 hours. And I went downstairs, and I really thought it was my husband or my sons that had come up to pray for me.
Uh-huh.
And I went downstairs, and all three of them looked at me, and they said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Better, thank you. Thank you for coming up and praying for me." And they all looked at me like, "What?"
Oh.
And none of them had come up to the bedroom to see how I was. But it was real.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It was real.
Do you remember what the
And
words were?
What?
Do you remember what the words were that were told to you or whispered to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if that's personal, don't don't go into it.
Yes. No, it's okay. I don't mind sharing it.
Uh-huh.
They prayed, they spoke peace and strength and healing over me.
Oh.
And then within 2 weeks, my foot completely healed up. So
cool.
That was supernatural right there.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
And I believe that was an angel. I really do. And then I've seen an angel in our bedroom in the middle of the night. I woke up and there was a huge presence and being.
Oh, wow.
And his head, it was a male, and his head went up to the ceiling.
Oof.
It probably could have gone up through the ceiling.
Wow.
But I could see his face, and he was huge. And I saw him clearly, and he smiled, and then he disappeared.
Wow.
And that was it.
That's amazing.
Did all of this happen in the same house? Is this all in the same place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
Wow.
It did.
You have a guardian angel
Now,
on your
my
side, it sounds like.
son, I do believe that. All my encounters of supernatural or paranormal have been very positive, and good things have happened and occurred. I've never had negative things happen with these encounters.
Good.
My oldest son, who is now 43, he had an angelic encounter when he was 3 years old. He was afraid of the dark to go to sleep at night.
Oh.
And one night, and I prayed over him every night. My son and I are very close, like you are with your son. I have two, and I'm very close with my son.
Oh, that's good.
And so I prayed over him every night before he would go to sleep. And one night, he came down the next morning and he said, "Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark anymore." And I said, "You're not? What happened?" And he said, "Mom," he said, "an angel came into my room and danced around my bed."
Oh.
Wow.
And I said, did they say anything? He said, "No." I said, "Well, what happened?" And he said, "They just smiled at me and just danced around my bed for a long time, and he never, ever had a fear of the dark after that, ever.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
Wow.
a beautiful story.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. You've
those are my stories.
Yeah, they're brilliant. That's really cool. And I love those kind of stories because I think people have those stories. I think there are many people probably walking around that have had, maybe not many people, but people have these kind of wonderful stories, and I think they deserve to be told because, of course, we spend a lot of time talking about the dark and the ugly and the scary and the horrific, and I love these kind of stories because it's like, but you know what? There's good stuff out there too. There's these beings, these angelic beings, these other beings that they're looking out for us. They have our best interest at heart, and I think that's beautiful.
Yes, I do too. And Brent, I really love the balance you bring on your programs. I have enjoyed it so much since my sister Brooks told me about you guys.
Aww.
And I love the way you are kind and respectful, and it's just so good. I find it very refreshing, and I just thank you for what you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate all the love and support you guys have given the show, both you and Brooks, and all of you out there. You guys are all amazing, and I just really thrilled that we have this community that, has formed around the show, and I'm just honored by it. And thank you so much for being a part of it.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And Sheldon, you are just absolutely awesome. I love that you're able to do this with your dad. I think that is so special. So you're just doing a great job, and so good to see you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It really has been a great and amazing experience with doing this with my dad, and also being with this amazing community. People like you is what makes this community. It's true.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I love this group. It's been fun getting to know all these people. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you calling in, and I hope you have a wonderful night. If more things happen, please call in again.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I will, for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Good night.
That's really cool. I like those stories a lot. Because again, we do spend a lot of time talking about the dark, scary, and it makes you feel that the weight of the darkness. That when you become aware of the paranormal, oftentimes we equate that with there's things lurking, they want to get you, and it's nice to have those reminders. People going, hey, there's beautiful things, there's wonder out there, there's amazing things, and that's really powerful, and I really appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and you've got a story, but that's kind of a boring story. No, it's not. Any of this stuff is wonderful, whether it seems simple to you, but it was an amazing event. Please call in. Please be a part of the show. Help us to understand what you've experienced, and the more people that share, the more the discussion broadens, and I think that's awesome. But thank you so much again for calling in and for being a part of the show.
Absolutely. No, you can't have the light without dark and dark with light. It's always I think it's good to balance these things out. Like if we're going over a lot of scary stories, that just remember there are some really great stories out there, as well as dark stories out there.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think the angelic ones are awesome because, I mean, those are the heavy hitters of the good guys. They're the ones that can really change things, and that's really awesome. Especially that foot healing. That foot healing suddenly after all that problem is that's really incredible. I mean, all of them are incredible. Don't get me wrong, but
of course.
But those really excite me. That people have this divine intervention, and things that were being problematic are suddenly much better and healed up in such a quick time. That's awesome. Spontaneous healing does happen, ladies and gentlemen. And some people believe it's a result of their own spirituality. Some people believe it's a gift from a divine source, and whatever you believe. And I don't pretend to know. So that's why I'm putting it all out there. I can't say whether it is or isn't something, but I believe that there are amazingly powerful positive forces out there, and that's important to acknowledge that, because we certainly acknowledge the darkness a lot. And so nice when somebody brings some light. Okay, let's get back to the stories. We got about 5 minutes before the break. So
Okay.
let's do that. All right, what's in the TV is next. Number 14, from Tash_Eliza. 2 eyes in Eliza. Okay. I invited my friend over for a sleepover one night. When night approached, me and my friend were in the mood to watch a horror movie. We decided to watch The American Poltergeist, and my friend went out into the kitchen to grab some snacks for us. She came back in the room. She put the snacks on the bed, and I set up the movie on my tablet while she was doing her own thing. Then when we were ready to watch the movie, as soon as I was about to press play, we saw something at the same time. When we looked at the screen, you could see the corner that's in my room. And when we looked at the screen, not scream, that was when the figure, we saw the figure. When we looked directly at the corner where the figure was standing, it disappeared into thin air. I turned to my friend and said to her, "Did you see that, or am I imagining things?" And she said, "Nope, I saw what you saw." We both saw it at the same time, which I find pretty weird. When we saw that figure, our bodies were instantly covered in goosebumps. We were scared at first because of how tall the figure was. We somehow finished the movie and went to bed. When the sun arose, my mother cooked us some breakfast, and I told my mom what happened. She said, "What did this figure look like?" And I said, "I'm assuming it's a man. He was tall, had a top hat on, and he was slightly skinny." And as soon as I finished my sentence, she knew who it was in my room. It was my great-grandpa watching over us. But I wonder why my friends saw him as well. I thought I could only see him because he was a part of my family. No, that's not true at all. I think, if people are sensitive, of course they can see them, but I think these beings can choose who sees them as well. I mean, I think they can make themselves manifest to whomever they want to. And I think they can also make themselves manifest to one and not another. But also they can make sure both see them.
I would believe that too. I mean, considering you're talking about the realm of breaking every single law that humans have created, or that we've discovered, and theories and whatnot. When you're talking about outside of that, anything's possible. I could absolutely believe that.
Well, I mean, it is true that the paranormal does seem to break the understandings of physics and nature as we know it. So but I think it's all part of nature. It's just we just don't know as much as we think we do. There's a lot more to know, and that's why I love this stuff. That's why I love it, because we're always learning, and hopefully we're always learning. But at least people are acknowledging this stuff. So we got about 2 minutes left. Let's see. Yeah, I can read this one. This is from Redditor Mark Villas, or Vias. I don't know how you pronounce it. But so one morning I was preparing for work and already getting dressed when I noticed that my belt wasn't where I usually hang it, on a hook behind the cabinet door. When I looked everywhere, from under my bed to the living room, I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it everywhere, it says. But since I was going to be late, I decided to just leave without my belt and would just look for it when I get back. I picked up my bag and went to the cabinet to spray some perfume. When I opened the cabinet door, the belt was suddenly there, hanging on the hook. My jaw dropped, and I swear all my hair stood on the end. I grabbed my belt, put it on, and hurried out of the room. Sounds like a deport and an upport. That's a phenomena where spirits can make things manifest. Manifesting, of course, is upport. And a deport is when they hide stuff. And oftentimes maybe it's just a sign or saying, hey, we're here. We want you to notice. So they do stuff like that. But maybe it's just being pranksters and stuff. Oh, the phone lines.
As long as they're helping out.
The phone lines just disconnected and reconnected quickly. Huh. All right.
Oh.
Looks like we're good, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to the last break of the night already. Last break. Sheldon, how the hell is that possible?
It's astounding me even. It feels like 10 minutes have gone by now.
That's the way the paranormal works, ladies and gentlemen. All kinds of spooky, crazy time anomalies here on the Paranormal Portal. So,
oh yes,
absolutely. Hi, happy girl. Don's not here tonight, but he may be out there watching. So, and hi everyone. Hello to you, Todd Tate. I seen ghosts around my house, and yes, I believe in ghosts. Awesome, Todd. I do too, brother. I definitely do. Portal Mom. Hi, Portal Mom. There you are. I hadn't seen you, but did you say hi to her already? Yeah, I see you did.
In the chat, yeah.
In the chat, yeah. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the last break of the night. So, buckle up or unbuckle. Go use the loo, get a drink, and meet me back here in just a couple minutes, and we'll continue the journey. And I got another article to get into, so don't go away.
And don't lose your belt.
Don't lose your belt. I'm waiting for the bumper music to come in. There it is. There's the bell. All right, we'll be right back, folks. See you then. Things we do to amuse ourselves during bumpers. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The last half hour of the show is upon us. We are into the last stretch of 25 minutes, 30 seconds. Before I go any further, let me just take a moment and tell you, if you're listening on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, or TalkStream Live, breathe, stick around because the incredible Paisley Wild will be coming up next. She's a dear friend, and her show is called The Spaces Between. And she'll be doing her show right next on those networks that I just mentioned. However, if you're on YouTube and you want to check out her show and get involved in the discussion, you can do so by going to youtube.com/thespacesbetween. And she simulcasts her show just like we do here. So, and you know, I'm just saying it's not always happen, doesn't always happen, but there's been known to be longbeard sightings on the Spaces in Between. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah, Don produces the show over there, so he'll be there probably in some fashion, but he may not be on camera, but he's probably around somewhere. But anyway, so the Spaces Between is coming up next, and I don't know what topic they're doing tonight, but it's awesome. How many want Brent to sing?
Yeah, they want you to sing.
Want me to sing? Where'd this come from?
Jesus, Don who?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so I'm not gonna sing. I'm sorry. I'm not. I gotta work the pipes up and warm up to it. I'm in broadcaster mode, not musical singing mode. So I apologize, but maybe sometime I'll whip out my guitar and play a few licks and sing something, but not tonight.
I wouldn't mind if you ever want to do that.
Well, thank you. I'm glad your vote is cast. Thank you.
My vote is cast. Yes,
I know,
officially.
that's why I said. But no, feline. You want me to sing feline? That's a very sequenced song. I'll just let you know. I did play guitar on that and bass, but other than that, it's all sequence. I used a sequencer and wrote it all, but it's a very technological song. Well, hi, Anubis. I guess you're stopping in. Hi. How you doing,
Mr. Anubis?
You are live, just for the record, right? Okay, you knew that? Okay.
Yeah, I am comfortable with that. That's fine.
All right. So
I have no shame.
I know, and why be shameful of that? It's cute. But yeah, Anubis stopped in to say hi. He just got in, so he was out running through the neighborhood, raising trouble, I'm sure. But anyway, I just saw a suggestion in the chat, doing some Bigfoot, and I guess we could. What we can do, if you guys want, I mean, I had other stuff pulled up, but if you want to do that, we can. If most of you agree, then by all means, we can look at the BFRO database and just check out some Bigfoot reports that are out there. If you're ever looking for Bigfoot information, there's many sites and sources out there, but one of them that I constantly go to is the BFRO, and I think they've done a great job being a repository of regional sightings and reporting, and I think it's a good site for that. So just give me a state, and we'll look and see what we can find. So if you want to hear about some Bigfoots, we can do that. I'm okay with it. Let me know what they say, Sheldon. I'm gonna pull up
Sudbury, Ontario.
Sudbury. You got to give me
Bogfoo. Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bogfooey in Sudbury, Ontario. I don't know if it's actually that specific, but we can look at Ontario. And I like to hit the Class A's, and the last Class A that they have listed here was from 2008. It's a daytime sighting behind a cabin near Westport. I don't know. I don't know geography very good, so getting too specific is going to be a problem for me. But we can read regions like this. So this is in the nearest town is Westport, County Road number 10. This is 2008, the summer, August 15th in Ontario. And it said, observed, I had just woken up, and it was a lovely sunny August morning, so I pulled up the blind and looked out the window on the second floor at the back of our cabin. I said to my husband, there's a man walking through our woods. And he said, let's go and see who it is. Then it happened. I suddenly felt really fearful and said, no. After that statement, I have been replaying the sight like a full internal movie with plenty of questions in my mind, like there were no clothes. And I'm now glad to find your sight. As soon as I looked out, I saw a large dark figure stride out of the forest and into a small grass clearing about 40 or 50 meters from the back of our cabin. The figure was over 6 feet and mostly medium brown, with different colored brown patches and one patch of hay-colored yellow on its side that stood out in the sun. It walked with a fluid grace and in 3 long strides crossed the clearing. Then it turned its face towards me for a split second, and it had a dark grayish flat face, which to me had no brown patches. Also noticed later that morning we heard crashes and breaking twigs in the forest behind our cabin, and later we had a rail come from the swamp area, screaming and petrified in a way I have never heard before. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. You know, it's the part that really kind of cooks my bacon on these things is that it seems like maybe it's just like us. And here's my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell me what you think, but we tend to know when we're being watched. We get that feeling like we're being watched. And I think they do too. I think these Bigfoot know exactly when they are being watched. And it's funny because when people talk about their experiences, especially with Bigfoot, but not only, they report it with many cryptids and even spiritual stuff. It's like everything was fine. It was really peaceful. And then suddenly a feeling of dread and the feeling of being watched suddenly washed over me. It's like, is that the moment that the being or creature or whatever you want to describe them as started watching? Like it became aware of the presence, came in the area, and once that feeling washes over them, is that the exact moment? Is that like some kind of psychic link that we know we're being observed? Maybe. Some sixth sense anyway. Now, they seem to be extraordinarily aware, not only that they're being watched, but they seem to be incredibly adept at looking exactly at who's watching them. They can be a football field away, and that's not like they're hearing it, but as soon as somebody sees them, it's like people report it turned and looked exactly at me. People looking through scopes of rifles. There'll be like hunters up and they're blind in the stands. And they see the thing and they're watching it, and all of a sudden it'll look directly at the hunter like, yeah, I know you're there. And it's just really, really profound. Like they know they're being observed. And not only do they know exactly where you're observing from. And sometimes it's, maybe not a big thing because, we don't blend in really well. Most of us. Hunters do, though. Hunters are camouflaged and they're geared up for it. But I don't know. There are Bigfoot and Dogman sightings in Algonquin Park in Ontario. Check it out whenever you get a chance. The Dogman sightings, I don't know where to go, you guys, for a good reporting on the Dogman sightings. That's a tough one for me. I'd love to find if there's a repository for that, but I also don't want to step on any toes. Like if it's, somebody's closely guarded site and I don't want to stomp on them. I know the BFRO is really cool about people looking up reports and stuff, and it happens all the time. So I'm not as concerned, but if you know of a good repository for Dogman sightings that is, much like this, then let me know. I'd love to know about that. I haven't found one yet, but ooga booga shivers. Yeah, me too. When it does blow my mind.
Just for the heck of it, are there any recent reports in Minnesota? Any newer ones?
Has anybody else said any states?
No, I've been looking for that.
Okay, all right. So that was
someone said not California.
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, yeah, California.
That counts.
There's another one in Ontario. Let's read this one first, and then we'll look at Minnesota. Another Class A from 2006 in Ontario. And this is nearest town is northwestern Ontario. Well, I guess that's the location details. There isn't really a nearest town. There is a nearest road, so that must mean it's really out there in the scrub. And the person reports this is 2006, August, summer. And it says, working part-time for a tourist camp, I had 2 young teenage girls assisting me that day, and I instructed them to clean cabin number 6 while I was in cabin number 1. The girls came to cabin number 1 when they were finished. When they finished cabin number 6, I told them to finish cabin number 1 while I went to inspect cabin 6. As I was passing cabin 5, I heard a loud crack in the bush to the right of me, and my first thought was, it's either a deer or a bear. I turned to look and was shocked to see this Sasquatch walking through the bush. I stood there in amazement, just looking at it. Well, it continued to walk, and out of curiosity or stupidity, I followed it until I lost sight of it behind cabin number 6. I think it stopped because I didn't hear its heavy footsteps through the brush anymore. I was too chicken to get any closer than I was. I would describe it to be about 5 foot 10 inches, not really tall then, reddish brown in color, covered head to toe in hair, very stocky, broad shoulders, walked upright on 2 feet. Didn't get a look at its face, though. I figured it was about 40 feet. I was about 40 feet away from it. And didn't notice anything else. There were no other witnesses and no other stories. Now, that is a pretty tiny one, but as many people point out, they aren't born 8 and 9 feet tall. They got to grow up to that. So there's, of course, lots of age ranges in there. So I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
Now, the only thing I would say, it says the witness is an Ojibwe native, has heard of approximately 6 other eyewitness reports from friends and acquaintances in and around this area. She doesn't want the exact location of her sighting disclosed for employment reasons. Okay. Cleaning cabins. Okay. So that's pretty much the report. There's not a lot to it, but they did see a medium-sized, what I assume to be a Sasquatch moving through the brush there.
So I messed up, and actually, I guess Washington and British Columbia were mentioned. Nina corrected me.
Well, I guess he's going to get booted off the show pretty quick. We'll have to bring Portal Mom on to help me out here.
I know, I'm slacking here.
British Columbia? Yeah, there's
134
134 reports filed with the BFR over, according to this site here. The last one was December 2020, which is a Class A. Class A means that they saw the Bigfoot. Class B can be sounds or signs. I don't think there's actually an eyewitness connection, like they didn't see the being. I don't know how they exactly rate these classes. I'll have to look it up. I'm sure it's on here. Maybe we'll look at that next. But this is one from British Columbia, December 2020. It's in the winter, in December. It says 25th. It was written on the 26th, I guess, because it says yesterday. Province is British Columbia, country, Canada. Location details, clearing across the driveway 8651, Highway 6A. Longitude, latitude coordinates even. Wow, this is very specific. Wow. Nearest town is Silverton, BC. Nearest road is 8651, Highway 6A. Okay. Observed. We were returning home last night, and 2 members in our vehicle said, "Look, is that a bear?" The person in the front seat saw what looked like a huge man standing on 2 legs. It bent over and fell to 4 legs. The person in the back saw the animal on 4 legs. They both say it was not a bear. This was yesterday. It is winter, and bears here in the interior of the Kootenays are hibernating. We live nearby, and we got home, and all 4 of us decided to go back and look for tracks. We went and filmed and took photos of a whole bunch of massive tracks that looked like they were from a bipedal animal. We have this video and photos and would like someone to look at them. We live near Silverton, British Columbia in Canada. We have also been walking in the woods near our house, and one time I saw a structure / setup of trees that looked deliberately placed in different crisscross patterns, or arrangements, it says. I also heard deep resonant sounds one night, right after we first moved into our new property near Silverton, BC. It sounded part human, part animal. Also noticed one person felt a presence in the woods when we went back to look at the tracks. We also felt we were being watched as we examined and videoed the tracks. There were 2 other people who saw it, and then 4 of us returned to see and take photos of the tracks. Other stories, there's been many sightings of Sasquatches in BC. We have felt like there are Sasquatch markers on our property, and they put their address out there. 8651 Highway 6A. We would like someone to look at the video and photos. It was just past 9 p.m. It was dark and snowy. There were no lights as we were in the wilderness. It was a clearing out of the woods near the side of the highway. Wow. That's pretty good sighting.
Yeah.
2 people saw it, so that's, it makes it a little powerful. And then another one from there. Was there any comments or anything? Okay.
No, we're all just talking about being friends.
Okay. Well, good. Let me tell you about my best friend.
But the other location was Washington, if you didn't get to that one yet.
I will get to that one. I'll get to that next.
Okay.
Then we'll take a peek at Minnesota.
Yes.
2019 summer, August, Thursday, 29. British Columbia, Canada. See GPS coordinates. Man, some of these are specific. We were driving from Hyder, Alaska in our motorhome. The Sasquatch came out of the woods, crossed 2 lanes of the highway in perfect sight, and disappeared into the woods, and both my wife and I saw it. I still get chills describing the event. Based on our seated height in the motorhome, I would estimate the height at over 7 feet tall, walking almost completely erect. It never looked either way or hesitated before crossing the highway. It was intent in its purpose. Dark brown hair from head to foot, chest was flat, not female, ? Broad strides and long arms, but not ape-like. I couldn't stop as there was no shoulder to pull over on, and the traffic that was present was limited to large tandem logging trucks traveling at high rates of speed. I barely slept that night trying to process what we saw, what it was and wasn't. If only I would have purchased the dash camera. See, what did I tell you?
Yep,
For our
there you go.
9,506 mile Alaska trip. I feel fortunate in having seen this, and retelling the story brings a great deal of interesting response. The show is all that more interesting since I know they are out there, having researched the subject further. The one we saw looked most closely to the Patterson-Gimlin photo, except our view was a complete profile only. It seemed as if the Bigfoot just disappeared into the forest. I will say this about Bigfoots, as far as trying to get an accurate sex of the Bigfoot or Sasquatch can be difficult. Now, obviously, Patty had pretty good sized breasts, but other primates, other than humans, don't retain large breasts if they're not actually nursing. So,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
human beings retain that. We keep the deposits and stuff, and they stay. But in other primates like mountain gorillas and chimps, they only develop breasts as they're actually feeding young, and then they go back to a very flat chest. So it's not quite as, did you see boobs? Nope. Okay, then it's a male. Well, no, it's not that easy. But I guess the other genitalia would be the only other giveaway. Maybe just the size, but who knows? We don't know enough about these things, so it's hard to say. I don't think so either. Somebody had a hidden comment there, and I don't think that'd be safe either. I wouldn't recommend it. Having relations with a squatch, I think that would be probably a pretty ugly experience. I'm just
Wonder what
guessing.
that would look like. A human Squatch hybrid.
Oh, I've seen claims. I've seen pictures and video of claims. I'll show it to you after the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll get you a link. You can check it out. It comes from China. There's a
Oh.
possible urine allegedly abducted a woman in the mountains of China at a small village, and she made her way back after being accosted and did end up having a child. And whether you believe the story
Wow.
or not, the video of the child is incredibly interesting. I mean, it's certainly some very unusual features. But anyway, you'll have to look that up. Look up Bigfoot hybrid in China, and you can see the video I'm talking about if you're interested. It's very, very wild. We're going to look at Minnesota, right? Wasn't that
Yes,
right?
please.
All right. This was still BC, wasn't it? I got to go back. I got to do Washington first because there was a request for Washington.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me get Washington State here. Did they say a county? Because Washington's got a lot of counties.
I only saw Washington.
Okay, so we don't know what county you're looking for.
Nope.
So whoever said Washington, what county? If you look on the screen, you can see a list of the available ones. So I don't know. China.
If anything, we can just do the one with the most reports.
There you go. That's not a bad idea. Well, let's see. 63 in Scamania. Looks like the most. So let's go to this one because we are down to 5 minutes. The time, it goes so quick.
Wait, 5?
It's
Oh my
pronounced
God.
Washington. What?
It's time flies. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go to the January 2020 was the last Class A that's listed here on the BFRO. And it says 2020 winter, January 4th, Washington and Skamania County, or Skamania, near the town of Willard, Washington, Willard Road, almost to the junction of Cook Underwood Road. Okay, nearest town is Willard. I was driving down Willard Road around 5 p.m. as I came around the last right-hand corner looking toward the straightaway to the junction with Cook Underwood Road. I saw a black object in the road, and I thought it was a bear, and the largest bear I have ever seen. It took up the whole left lane of the road, and it was huge. It looked like the butt was raised up, and I figured it could be a 600-pound bear in my mind. And then I saw this commotion going on, like something moving up and down, all black. A bear will run or lumber across the road. And at the time, I thought I've never seen a bear do this. I thought this could be several deer or elk walking on the road. I was confused about all the motion going on. Then as I approached, the creature approached the edge of the bank. It popped up. I yelled out, "It's a man! What's a man doing out here in the woods at this time of night?" It stepped onto the bank and walked into the woods, and as my mind was trying to figure out what I saw the whole body and the head. The right leg stepped onto the bank, left arm back, no hat, no coat, no clothes. There was no snout or ears like a bear. Yes, a conical head. Tall, arms longer, legs bulky. My headlights lit it up. By the time I passed it, it had disappeared into the woods, and by the time I reached Cook Underwood Road about 600 feet, I know what I saw, but was still trying to process it. I went back on Sunday to see if I could see prints, but it had rained hard all night, and I saw no prints. I still see the creature in my mind. Later, as my mind was processing what I saw, I knew it had to be arms and legs going up and down as it crossed the road, and also it was actually crawling. Then stood up by the bank, but it was so fast, like it popped up. Still hard for me to believe what I saw, but I believe it was a Sasquatch. I also now believe as I approached it, when my headlights came upon it, it turned back towards the headlights and scrunched its face because the headlights were in its eyes. Then turned and faced the woods and walked off. No other witnesses, other stories, yes, vocalization, some visual by Hemlock Wind River area. 5 p.m. dark in the tree canopy, long stretch of road. View from Willard to Cook, Willard Road to Cook-Underwood Road had more light. Large acreage of timber company land with no vehicle entrance except by special permission. That's a weird one.
That is. It's
Yeah.
kind of a cool story, though.
Yeah, it's hard to understand what he saw. Like if it was crawling, what was it looking like? On its hands and knees? On its hands and feet? In a crawling position? I don't know what that means, but that sounds pretty incredible. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see about Minnesota.
Digger Dog says the Bigfoot/human hybrid known as Patrick. They have been documenting and investigating cases of where human Bigfoot hybridization may have taken place.
Sure.
One particular story that stood out is about a Colville Indian bride who was reportedly kidnapped by Bigfoot in the late 1800s.
Oof. Well, you know what? I don't have time for Minnesota because we're down to 1 minute and 30. Well, actually,
that is
a minute.
A-okay.
That's A-okay? Well, I'm glad.
A-okay.
Glad you're okay with it, buddy. You did good. We had a good time, I think. I hope you guys all had a good time. You had a great time?
I had a great time.
Okay.
And it went by in seemingly... It feels like I came on 15 minutes ago and I'm still here. Like that. It doesn't feel like 2 hours.
It doesn't. It's a time anomaly. But
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, remember to stick around. Check out Paisley Wild coming up next. Her show is really fun and a lot of great information on esoteric and pagan ideals and beliefs. And you can probably pick up something you didn't know. Plus, she's just a great person. She's just a dear friend. So definitely help support what she's doing. Brent Spider Crawl. I was thinking of the Spider Crawl Digger Dog. That's what I was wondering as he was explaining what he saw. It's like, what did he actually see? So I was thinking about that spider crawl, and that would be creepy to see the spider crawl. I just couldn't imagine. But yeah, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us. Sheldon, thank you so much for being here. And
Absolutely.
to all of you out there, we love you. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night.
Good night.